Hello, everyone. My name is Samuel, and this is the REST API project that I was able to build for the extra credit opportunity for CIS 425. I was able to do a existing REST API given the time I had. So what I was able to do was program a REST API using Axios, Express, and Node.js, and also Cores to retrieve user login information from a database that I hosted on the free MySQL database hosting, connected that database, ran queries to it, and had it listen on a port 8081. I can show you how it's a server client setup. So right here we have the server material of how we declared it and everything, how the database is connected, the port that it would be assigned to, how it's retrieving the material in JSON. So I set it up using SQL5 free MySQL hosting, and then ran these API calls. So we have API data, selects from users and displays those users in a JSON format. API login that takes from that database, that checks with that database and sees if the entry is correct. This is on the server side. Makes a comparison and finds that specific entry where it's correct and sends it to success 200. Sorry about that. So we have the API register that takes in the information from the front end. Takes the information from the front end and passes these to register a new account or a user. So in order to run our backend, we run node server.js. As you can see here, this is the data from server. Displays every item from that server. We can see here in app.js how it's called. It fetches the data from this port number on the client side, 8081. This is the location of the port, the location of the port for where the server is hosted at, and calls API data, which lists in not here in which lists in API data, makes a query call from the SQL that was hosted, and displays if there was an error, throw error. But if there's a result, display the result in JSON format. So it's listening on port 8081. Now, when it comes to the login page, let me just hide these logins, right? If I just enter whatever, not gonna let me log in. It'll even display, hey, query went through, nothing went found. We did receive this entry though. This is on the console log on the server.js. For login, right? It selects from that deal where it's like, okay, here it's like, okay, count username and password received, displays username and password that was entered. If there was an error, even talking to the server, error with query entry, but there was an error. It went through, but there was nothing found. So it displayed this item right here underneath the API call. to the SQL server. Now, if I were to write something along the lines of, let's see here, we'll go over to the second one, Gab, SDF, JKL, I believe. I made way too many. Let's see on this back end. Query went through and something was found. The email, Gab, and a master password hash, SDL, JK, something was found, and it displays it in a JSON format. All right, so user object. I could actually compare those. Take this and compare. But on the front end, right? Login. I don't know how to display these two differently. Okay. Login, right? Await Axios post. We call the Axios API to call from this location for API login. Calls to the server and it makes this specific command of what it wants to check. It sends as a request their username and password, and if there's a response, login successful, navigate the website to this location on the front end. Otherwise, well, I've yet to fix this. I wonder if I did a response.0 that email equals username and response. Anyways, I'll deal with that later. I'm just going to save this for later. This is how it is. Takes that response, we make a conditional answer. Otherwise, if there's an error, right? There was an error occurred while trying to log in because we were not able to receive anything. Now we're able to see the username, password, and all this nice stuff. Now, if I were to go to register a new account, we enter something, any arbitrary entry. Boom, boom, boom. On the login, on the sign up side, it sends from the Axios post to localhost 8081 where the server is, makes this command. It's going to be a post command, API register. So we're sending data, these 5 items of entries that we set in JavaScript. We declare here, we set them, we get them set through the HTML down here, right? On change, when we put an entry here, it records the change of what's being set and sets that change into what is being set for that variable email. And then once all those items have been typed out, when we click sign up, account has been made, verification sent to email. Okay, server received values, these values, right? And when we show those login items, hey, look, what we entered, and it's now in the database. That's about it. Thank you, everybody.